All right, we are back out here at Denmark Drone Park. We have a Develop Air out there. If you want to take note, there's two red propellers in the front, two black props in the rear. We have the iVue RoboControl app pulled up in front of us, or really we just had the development version of World's iVue pulled up in front of us. Soon this will be pushed to production, so what you're seeing here, by the time you're seeing it, will already be live at just worldsivue.com. So we go to the iVue RoboControl app, select Add Drone, and would you look at that, we now actually have a proper representation of Develop Air. We had an old white image of Develop Air. That was, again, an older previous iteration, but now we have it where it's a top-down view, and as you'll see, if it works properly, will actually rotate and orient itself to be a better representation of the physical Develop Air here virtually. All right. And so we can now already see that the image does not align with Develop Air physically. So we have the props, the red props, the front props facing away from us. But as you can see here, the front props are facing actually towards us and then actually rotated a little bit to the right. So if we look straight up at the map, that 0 degrees to the right or east is 90 degrees. It's probably about 95 degrees, where it should be about 180 degrees with how it's positioned now. So that's a bug fix that we'll have to sort out. Regardless, this will still be pushed, but the orientation might not be indicative of what it is in actuality, but there was no sort of orientation with the previous image of Develop Air, so it was all just based off of what you could see physically or visually. All right, let's go ahead and just enable the gamepad. I'm just pressing A, and for maybe you new viewers, just using a Legion Go here with a MLRS telemetry radio, just a USB radio, in other words. I might have just lost connection with this radio. Let's see. Going back to drones. Yeah, I need to reconnect. Just a sensitive USB connection is all. But now if I put Develop Air into loiter flight mode, I should just be able to arm, and then with the throttle stick, and error while sending command. Let me see if I do fly drone, arm and fly, launch. So no, it looks like maybe we have some sort of compass error. Let me disconnect here in the iVue RC app before my fingers freeze. I'm not a baby, you're a baby. Come on now. Might have to reload our UI here. All right, we're disconnected. Let me open up Q ground control. Dun, 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 dun. Could you imagine only having an arrow to represent your Develop Air on the map? All right, let's see what sort of message we're gonna get for why we can't take off. Going into loiter flight mode. Click the messages icon, the megaphone icon that gives you the messages.
GCS failsafe. GCS failsafe cleared. Compass is inconsistent.
So yeah, have another compass inconsistent issue. Let's do the oh so lovely compass calibration dance. We can dance if we want to. We can leave your friends behind. And if they don't dance, well, something. Well, they're no friends of mine. Sensors, compass, and I'm gonna do a speed run in the sense of getting from over here to over there, because I'm going to just start the compass calibration from over here. All right, heard the beeping, and let's see how we did. You guys will already be seeing probably by this point. Not great, but we're gonna roll with it like we did last time. That is. Do I look like a nerd to you? Rhetorical question. EKF compass variance. Let's see if this goes away with the reboot. Looks like it did. Go back into loiter flight mode. This GPS and compass has been rock solid prior to the previous test flight, and then all of a sudden we're having compass problems. Could be a battery orientation issue, but we'll do continued testing, but not the purpose of today's flight, so we'll just work around it for the time being. All right, we have ready to fly here in Q ground control, going back into the iVue RC app, hitting connect to the radio, the telemetry radio. And I'm going to enable the gamepad, verify it's enabled, and just going to select ARM. All right. And developer is hovering there as it should. Now we can again follow along, seeing developer move on the map, just about a one-to-one virtual representation of the physical developer in flight. Of course, again, notwithstanding the correct orientation, but as I'm rotating, you can see developer rotate on the map as well. It just doesn't have the correct alignment at the start of the flight, which makes it off the remainder of the flight, right? So let's go ahead and we're going to put it into Smart RTL mode, going to the drone modes menu. And so doing Smart RTL will have it basically follow its breadcrumb trail, basically the shortest known path where it did not face any obstacles on the way to where it was when the Smart RTL initiated. Versus if I just put it into RTL mode, it would have climbed up to about 150 feet before coming down for a landing. All right, now I'm going to pick up this developer, bring it back over to the table, and then we'll have a little battery talk, picking up where we left off in the last video, which maybe I should have teased a little bit at the beginning, but anyone that wants this sort of information is probably watching to the end or close to, you would hope. And it looks like we might be kicked out here in about 7 minutes, so we got to make it somewhat quick. So this developer, again, as you saw in the weather resistance testing video and endurance testing video, returned to home on a Smart RTL automatically. That was about 20 to 25% battery, and really probably 30 to 35%, maybe even a little bit more. We have a little bit more fine tuning, again, according to these LiPo battery voltage charts. We actually use lithium-ion batteries, so where you can see like the LiPo battery, a 4S LiPo battery. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. So a 4S, it says is empty, completely at zero at 13.09 volts. Well, with the Developer Mini, we landed at a critical value, which is about 10%. At 12.27 volts, according to a watt meter. And no, not a watt meter, a watt meter. So let me pull up my notepad I had here so I can show you some of the updates that we made. So according to the Developer Mini, it was previously set the battery status lights, which I'm going to show here. I can actually unplug this radio now. And I'll unplug the developer as well. We're not going to be flying this Developer Mini, but I have 3 batteries at different states. They may not all be different enough to have 3 different values for the lights, but let's figure out what light color we're going to get this time with this battery. I can check ahead of time. I have a nice little adapter to go from XT30 to XT60 to use the battery with the watt meter to check the current voltage. But so we have green lights on this battery. Unplug, and you guys might not have been able to see that, again, looking at this light or the one on the other side for me. And so you can see this is the one that we flew with. It's flashing red. And then hopefully this one is right about in the middle where it's yellow. I'm not sure that's going to be the case. And it's green there. So yeah, that's green. And just to go back to the last one, I think it was, let me just double check, save maybe a couple seconds, maybe not. Probably just ate it up by using this connector. Think about all the time that I could have saved had I just marked these batteries or put them down in a way I remembered. All right, and then now you can see flashing red, maybe, hopefully. And so what I'm getting at here is the lights were prematurely changing colors. So now instead of the lights changing from green to yellow at 14 volts, they changed from green to yellow at 3.25 volts, and then from yellow to red, instead of 13.5 volts down to 12.75 volts. And then anything under 12.75 volts is flashing red, so critical. So in any case, I think that's all we have for you today. This light code actually that you now see on screen was the old version. The new version is uploaded into the download section on the iVue Robotics website. So again, if you want to do a DIY build or do any modification to your own Developer Mini, the battery status lights or the position lights, you can do so using this Lua script. So if you have any questions, any comments, concerns, leave them down in the comment section below. If not, thanks for watching. You'll catch us in the next video. Peace.